Hey everybody, it's Riley and I'm back on Riley Plays. In today's video, I would like to go over all of my custom challenges, which you can find on my Tumblr page. As you can see, this is my page right here. This is what you look for. Here's my sim, blowing bubbles, and yeah, this is what my page looks like. I had to make it Riley Plays Life Games because apparently the Riley Plays name was taken, but I'm going to go over my custom challenges. If you want to look at them yourself, I have them all compiled here under the Sims 4 custom challenges. You can click on any of these, but they can also be found in my posts. So I'm going to keep this simple. We're just going to go through each one and talk about it. In the future, I actually mean to play through these, and when I play through each one, I'll go over this part again, depending on which one I do. So the first one here, for more realistic gameplay, I call it the Real Writer Challenge. And I have a little introductory blurb here. Anyone who has ever attempted to write a book knows that it's much more difficult than just cranking out a draft and stuffing it in the mailbox. There are self-publishing fees, gatekeepers to traditional publishers, editing, networking, marketing, and so much more. Being a real writer is hard. And here we have the rules. You can read them for yourself here. Just going to stay here for a second. It's a little exhausting reading all of this out, but as you can see, you will also need certain packs. Well, it says only applicable, so you can also do this without the pack. If you want to read more about this, you can find it on my Tumblr, or you can just pause the video because I'm going to be scrolling through each of these, but here it says recommended expansions and game packs, get famous, and here I have tips. You'll notice for each of my challenges that I have the same general sort of format. So you can, in this one, might require you to use a cheat. And then I have my sort of disclaimer. Any recommended mods, expansions, and game packs are not necessary to complete the challenge, but are encouraged if you want to add flavor to your playthrough. And also, I mentioned before that when I actually play through these, I'll go through this again, in which case I'll probably read through this whole thing, but I don't want to exhaust everyone with that, so we're going to go to the next one, the Real Athlete Challenge. Becoming an athlete is incredibly difficult. Grueling training sessions, a lifelong obsession, and a strict diet are just some of the prerequisites. Nobody can wake up and decide to be an athlete either. You either are or you aren't, and you have until the end of childhood to figure that out. Peak fitness isn't enough. Aspiring Sid Crosbys or Usain Bolts must earn top grades to be accepted by recruiters. And here we have our rules. And with this one, you actually start as a child, because in real life, if you know anything about being an athlete, you have to train right from the get-go. Full disclaimer, I am not an athlete. I sit on my butt all day. So yeah, this is more, I know this from watching TV rather than actually doing anything. Some of these expansions I don't have either, just because either they just didn't interest me, or you know, if it's something like Ecolife, I've heard things about a lot of glitches, so I'm a little nervous about that too. Or, you know, I just don't have tons of money, so I kind of buy what really excites me. But I've set this up so that if you don't have it, you can play it if you have it. But if you don't need to. And here are, again, the tips and the same disclaimer at the bottom. Now, this is the next one, the Scooby Gang Challenge. There are mysteries to be solved and criminals to be caught. Aided by their trusty dog, a ragtag band must work together to catch the bad guys and achieve their dreams. This one's relatively straightforward. In this one, you can make anybody you want, or you can literally make the characters from Scooby-Doo. For this one, you will need Get to Work and Cats and Dogs, because the dog is an important component. It would not be Scooby-Doo without Scooby. And, right, that same disclaimer at the bottom, the tips, but like I said, can be anybody you want, as long as they adhere to some of those basic personalities. This is the darker one, the serial killer challenge. Similar to the Black Widow, but this one might be a little bit creepier. You always known you were different. You don't understand people. Feelings seem pointless because you've never felt them. However, you're a smooth talker and a sharp thinker. People like you, and it's easy for you to make them do what you want. You're smarter than all of them, and human suffering offers the only respite from the numbness. Through their pain, you finally experience happiness. So here's the basic rules. Recommended expansions, but not required. I just want to read the same tip. This challenge is not for children or the squeamish. If you love your Sims, run away. Like, as you can tell, it gets kind of dark. So even I think I'm going to be a little squeamish when I play through this one, because like I'd never heard anybody in real life, but that's that challenge. The Sims Herbs challenge. Only a handful of Simmers will recall the somewhat successful Sims spin-off game, Herbs, Sims in the City. It was a game I personally enjoyed, sporting systems not dissimilar to Sims 4's Get Famous or Sims 4's Get Together. The types of goals demanded of the player in the original title fit right in with the Sims 4 aesthetic. This one is a long one. Some of my challenges are quite long. So if you plan to play through them yourself or mean to watch me play them, be forewarned, some of them require a lot of work, including a lot of skills, a lot of aspirations. It's a lot in this one. And you have your tips here. Required expansion and game packs. Unfortunately, you have to have these 3. And you can make your own characters or characters from the game. Now, the next one, the Monarch Challenge. You've spent many a hungry night gazing up at the beautiful castle. You've grown accustomed to not only nobles, but everyday citizens scoffing at you. You are nothing, a dredge who lives in the city sewers. But that hasn't stopped you from dreaming. True. Even if you become an artist, you'll probably still be hungry, but at least it's something. If you can survive long enough to impress the right people, you might even find yourself climbing towards the life you and those you scoffed at have dreamed of. Every day, that shiny throne looks that much more attainable. And again, this one is fairly long, as you can see, and these also requires expansions, Get Together, and Get Famous. And then the recommended expansions, recommended mods. I wasn't super specific here, but if you go look for mods, there are a lot of medieval clothes. And there are all the tips. I'm not going to read all those out because they're long. The Victorian Challenge. Being a noble isn't as easy as it looks. For a young lady, there are lessons to be mastered, beautiful but uncomfortable dresses to wear, balls to attend, and suitors to impress. An accomplished woman has both wit and beauty. She cannot be lazy, for it is her job to become a master of the arts and of pleasing guests. You have determined that you will never marry. You enjoy your independence and laugh at the gentlemen who would frown upon your long walks and sharp retorts. This plan seems simple until a handsome, if difficult, stranger moves into your inner circle. Will you resist him or finally cave to true love? This is for all those Jane Austen fans out there. It's totally Pride and Prejudice inspired. There's, again, like with the medieval one, there's a lot of Victorian clothes. Get Famous has some old-fashioned clothes too, but I didn't put it in here. You'll find a good selection if you go looking for mods. There are a lot of Victorian dresses. The Vampire Celebrity Challenge. You are the damnedest creature. You were never one to follow rules, to play it safe. You're a rebel, but a thinker too. You've been trying to understand the meaning of life since you could walk, and being turned into a vampire only complicated matters. It should have been fun, but there are so many damn rules. There's only one rule you follow. Rules are made to be broken. Vampires are sworn to secrecy. They can't tell mortals what they are. They can't discuss other immortals with humans. So, it's time to do just that. It's time to become a star. You can see there's all that. Recommended mods. Again, I wasn't specific. I too have to do a little more digging. I actually don't have this one either, but it has more old-fashioned clothes in it. I want to mention this challenge was inspired by Anne Rice's The Vampire Chronicles. You could make the characters from the books or your own character. The Greek God Challenge. Blending in with mortals is easier than ever during the modern age. Occupying a modest home, 3 all-powerful brothers decide to attempt life as humans. After thousands of years, the great powers, Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades, haven't got anything better to do, though their interference with the lives of their subjects is nothing new. Here are all the rules. And with these guys, they can look any way you want, though they should have appropriate traits. Poseidon should love water, Zeus should be active or flirty, and Hades should either be a goofball, mean, or evil. The Black-Eyed Children Challenge. This is a little more of a quirky one, kind of a creepy one too, maybe a good one to do around Halloween. Tales of the Black-Eyed Children are relatively new, but enough to send chills down anyone's spine. The legend goes that these children, usually traveling in a pair with one older child and one younger child, will visit different houses, asking to be let in. Their appearance is unnerving, and the consequences, if you accept their request, could be dire, though nobody has ever opened the door for them before. So, yeah, this is a bit of a darker one, but good for Halloween. And I get into mods here. The Castaways Challenge. You've washed up on the shores of a gorgeous island with nothing but the clothes on your back and a handful of resources, money for trade, a tent, and a woodworking table. As you explore the island, struggle to survive, and befriend the locals, you discover it's more extensive than you thought. Beyond the perfect blue waters and colorful coral reefs, you discover deep jungles filled with ancient temples and cooler forests brimming with toxic plants, unknown fish, and unusual insects. From hermits to mermaids, sloths to sea turtles, the island offers adventure and danger. It's your job to make the best of things. No rescue ship is on the way. You'll need, this is a lot in this one, and you'll need a lot of packs here. Basically all the outdoorsy kind of packs you'll need. I have had trouble finding this, but if you could find something that makes you look a little rough around the edges, then that's good too. The base game, the game with those expansions has a lot of plants, but again, if you want to make everything look even more lush, that's an option. The Weasley Challenge. No family is more busy than the Weasleys. With an excess of children but very little money, life isn't always easy. Pressure is also on each child to succeed, particularly with so much competition. Yet will everyone achieve their dreams? Who will shine the brightest in such a crowded household? And this one is, it'd be a lengthy one. There's a lot to do in this one. And here I'm more specific with recommended mods. I'll go over this again when I play through it. And we've got recommended, lots of tips. The Hogwarts Challenge. Congratulations! You've been accepted for study at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. Your letter has arrived, and it's time to be sorted into your house. Grab a cat and a cauldron and head out. Your new life awaits. Spells and potions, deadly plants, and fast-paced Quidditch matches. It's going to be a fun year. And we've got all of this. The same recommended mods as from the Weasley Challenge. And if you want, you could also get Zerbu's Get to School mod. I do need to test it to see if it works with the current packs, but it should be okay. And all these tips. You'll want your student to have a cat as well. And the Vampire Society Challenge. Humans have ruled for too long. Tired of hiding and watching the ages pass without affecting them, you've decided to challenge the human race. You plan to usher in a new age of vampire domination. They'll have to leave some mortals untouched. Everybody's got to eat. Now, this one looks short, but as I mentioned in the tip, this challenge will be longer or shorter, depending on which packs you own. All EA-made sims must be changed in both base game worlds and expansion pack worlds. Vacation worlds don't count. These sims would include the likes of the Goth family, the Fang family, the Roswells, and so on, depending on which towns you have. Randomly spawned townies are to remain untouched. They will serve as meals. So basically, if you have the base game, you only have to worry about the pre-made residents of Willow Creek or Oasis, the land grabs, the goths, I can't even remember them all. Basically, all the Sims that EA made. But if you have the expansions, that means everybody in San Myshuno, everybody in Strangerville, anyone that EA has made. Randomly spawned townies, however, they're just food. The Vampire Saga Challenge, or as I like to call it, the Twilight Challenge. As a high school girl, your life has never been that exciting. Your existence in a rainy small town is dull until the day you notice a strange and beautiful family. This is it, true love. You should be terrified, but, well, there's always been something wrong with you. You don't fit in with other humans. You need someone as unusual and misunderstood as yourself, and it doesn't hurt that he's attractive. This one is fairly long. I mean, it's long. It involves a lot of different Sims, but you can create anyone you want, but they must adhere to the rough guidelines that have been set out. All characters, parents, romantic interests, vampire family members may be made by the player. So basically they have to have some basic, like one has to be a doctor, one has to be a creative, but they can still be anybody you want. And that's it for my challenges. Pretty sure that's it. This is just another random post. And yeah, those are my custom challenges. If you're looking forward to seeing me play through these or would like to hear more, please subscribe to my channel. I wish everybody happy simming and goodbye.